All right, Creed 3 starts with Adonis, top of his game, world champion, and then decides to hang it up. He's getting too old, so he quits. But then out of the shadows comes a figure from his past.
His past comes out of it, the shadows, in the form of
Jonathan Majors, who is a major player in this. When Adonis and Jonathan Majors' character were kids, they got into this altercation. Adonis ended up running, and then Jonathan Majors' character ended up taking the brunt of the incident. And now he was locked up for 18 years. He was on his way to being an all-star boxer, world champion, and he feels like that was taken from him.
And now he's watching Creed live out his dream. So obviously he's a little sore about that.
And so then Adonis must enter the ring once again to
take on his old friend and his past at the same time.
Decent movie.
Yeah, it was pretty decent, actually. The Creed movies have been pretty solid so far.
I would say so. I don't know if this one's my favorite one. It might technically be the best just from a dramatic standpoint.
Yeah, from a character standpoint, I think it is probably the best.
One is probably my
solid.
favorite. And two is just awesome because Drago.
Of course.
That's just badass.
And then this series is the perfect example of taking a franchise that had kind of played itself out.
My ring's outside.
Yeah. Let's do it.
And you're properly passing the torch on to the next generation.
This is, Creed does legacy sequels perfectly.
Yes.
You know, where you take an old IP and it's like, well, we gotta continue it on. Obviously Rocky's too old.
Don't you think you're too, old?
Can't keep fighting forever. So they did a great job successfully passing the torch onto Michael B. Jordan.
Yes.
And obviously 3 movies in, it's in very good hands with Michael B. Jordan.
Yes, yes, because he took on the directing mantle for this one.
And he did
a pretty good job.
He did. There was some choices in there that were pretty interesting from a director's standpoint.
Unlike the first 2 Creeds, you had the storyline with a little Rocky thrown in there.
Yeah.
This is the first, I guess technically, Rocky franchise movie that doesn't
have Rocky
feature.
We get one line.
One mention of him.
That, just sort of keeps him in.
Yeah.
And honestly, did I miss Rocky? Yeah. Like, it sucks because Rocky's amazing.
Of course.
And, you know, you go see these movies because of Rocky.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really hurt the experience, I don't think.
No, and I went into this movie thinking like, because I remember reading the stories like, oh, Stallone, he's not in this one. And he was still like a producer on it. But him not being there, I was like, oh, that's gonna hurt the film. And like halfway through the movie, because the story was so focused on Adonis's past and his relationship with Majors, I wasn't missing Rocky. And
you kind of forget about it,
right, you forget that he's not there, and you're like, okay, yeah, we can have a story that's just focused on his past. And Rocky's not really part of that past.
There were a couple instances where I was sort of thinking this would be a good opportunity for Adonis to call him.
Yeah, just a phone call.
Just have a talk with them or something, you know?
Just one scene at the restaurant where he comes in, he's like, yo, I need your advice.
But the way the movie was structured, as you were alluding to, it would have just seemed more like, I don't know, weird fan service if they did that. And so it wasn't needed.
Right, and that's something that the first two Creeds didn't have with the Rocky character, was fan service. He was a big part of those movies. He wasn't just there as like, oh, look, it's Rocky, he makes his cameo and leaves. Like, he's integral to that story.
Correct.
And Adonis coming into his own as a person and a fighter. In this, it would have felt weird if he had just shown up for one scene. So I'm glad it wasn't done that way. Now, if they want to do Creed 4 and he has a part and he comes back and plays a bigger role, fine. If not, like,
unless he's integral to the plot, just don't even bother.
If they do a fourth one. And they probably will, because this movie pulled in like 60 million in its opening weekend.
Yeah, money does talk, but it does do a good job at bookending it. If they were to just end it,
they could have ended it right here. Yes, the end. He wins his fight. He comes back out of retirement.
Yeah,
wins the fight.
Spoiler.
And then he has that moment with his family in the ring in Dodger Stadium, and it's like, okay, you want to end it here? You could end it here. Yeah. But they're not going to end it there.
Look, man, like
they're not going to end it.
The fact of the matter is, though, he is getting old for a boxer.
Yes.
But that's what Rocky 2, 3, 4,
didn't really matter for Rocky.
All fucking Rockies are about that. So, sure.
He's gonna start street fighting in the next one.
Yeah.
Like Rocky 5.
My ring's outside.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I could think he can get another one easily. Yeah. However they want to work that story. I mean, it's like, okay, how many times are you gonna come out of retirement? I don't know. Just ask Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Like Brett Favre. Like,
Brett Favre.
You know, it's not like it's like a weird thing for an athlete to do. It happens all the time. It would just have to be something very compelling to pull him out again.
Yeah. Speaking of past Rocky characters or past series characters, we get another look at Ivan Drago's son.
Yes,
he comes
he's
back,
back in
which is
this
kind of
one.
cool. They're kind of friends now.
Yeah, the respect is there.
The respect is there, yeah.
Especially with the events at the end of Creed 2.
Yeah.
Where you get the father-son moment with the
Yeah.
two of them, which was good because now it lends to Drago becoming a bigger character in the series, and potentially maybe a spin-off. Well, they could do a Drago
Possibly,
movie now.
it's possible. I
I'd
mean,
be there for it.
Since he was in it, I was kind of hoping Dolph Lundgren would make an appearance. He didn't.
Right.
Fine.
But that's
again,
okay.
it's like
'Cause
Rocky
then it'd
not
be
showing
weird
up. It's
if Dolph showed up and then Rocky didn't. It's
Right.
like he had his part in the second
you
one.
know, I would have been fine with it.
Yeah, I would have been fine with it too. But I like that they kept this story very focused on Adonis and his childhood friend, Dame.
Hey, my man, can I help you?
Let me get an autograph.
Nah, I ain't signing the autographs, but you get off my car.
You don't remember me, huh?
Damien.
Played pretty masterfully by Jonathan Majors. I mean,
Best
that guy,
part of the film.
hands down. Like
Yeah,
he
showed some real range in this role.
Michael B. Jordan is very good, but just the layers of
Majors has a presence
He does.
on screen, and his character goes through some real shifts in
Yeah.
how he presents himself, and it's fantastic.
Just the first two scenes where he shows up at the gym and
Yeah.
he talks to him outside, very tense, awkward moment.
Yeah.
And then they go to
The
get
diner
lunch in the
scene.
diner, and when they
you
do
really
that,
feel for him.
you feel for him, but like you can tell there's stuff going on.
Yes,
You
he's
know?
being very reserved,
Yeah.
and he's not asking for help.
Yeah.
Because he knows Adonis is going to want to help him because
Yeah.
he knows he's got that guilt
Yes.
about what happened.
Yeah, that's I think what I liked about this movie the most. Thematically, the movie's trying to deal with guilt.
I actually liked him more in this one
Yeah.
than I did the other two.
He's kind of unlikable in the other two. Like,
Yeah, he's got the chip on his shoulder.
You're rooting for him, but I don't know. I think that they tried making him like his dad.
But the difference was that his dad was more charismatic.
And that's, I guess, my one complaint about Creeds 1 and 2. I like the guy and I like Michael B. Jordan and you want to root for him, but at the same time, there's always something slightly holding you back from going all the way.
Yeah.
He's somewhat unlikable sometimes.
Yes, not that he's good, but like he plays it a little too tough in
Yeah,
certain
not
areas.
even like tough. It's almost like wannabe tough. Like he's just got to prove himself a little too much, you know?
right.
And in this one, that's not really the case anymore.
No,
And I
'cause
think
he's a
that he's
little-
more refined in this
He's more
one.
refined. He's a little more grounded, and that
Yeah.
obviously has to do with his wife. Now he's got the daughter.
Having a wife and a kid, having a family now, that's like part of what's going on in his life.
It shows
in this.
another side to him
Yeah.
that we didn't get in the first two.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like growth from a character standpoint because he
Yes,
has a
yeah.
family now.
Curious what happened with you two?
I didn't tell you. We was like brothers. I was the best though. But I never got a chance to prove that.
There were a few things though that seemed
Often unnecessary.
often unnecessary in character motivations with Majors. Like he had the big switch, like we talked about, where he kind of turned and you see his true motives, which is like, oh, you live in my life, I'm gonna take everything you have now. And that's all fine. What they chose to do when Adonis's new fighter that he's training, the new champ, he was training him and he was setting up and promoting a fight between him and Drago.
First of all, that fucking fight.
And that
I'm
would've
sorry,
been- that would've been a
that
5
dude
second
was a
fight.
twig, man. Like Drago would have just crushed him.
Yeah, and they have that little like record release party for the wife, and Drago's there, Felix is there, and they're having a little like, ooh. And then all of a sudden this guy comes out of nowhere and like breaks Drago's hand.
So now Drago.
So now Drago can't fight the champ, and it's like immediate, you know, like okay, obviously.
This is the first time a Rocky flick has like a whodunit aspect to it.
Who done it? Which is like, if you just think about it for 5 seconds, it's not that much of a who done it. He gets Nancy Kerrigan by someone Majors was in prison with.
It's so lame how you find out
so
Creed's
stupid.
mom slides in the
Slides
photograph, and we see the
and it's
guy,
two
and he's
of
just
them,
like,
yeah. Clear as day, you could see the guy, and they made sure to show his face on the news when he got arrested. And it's like,
Just
the second it happened, I was
unnecessary.
like, obviously he did this. He
Of
set
course.
this up. And because of that, like, he knew that there would be no one else to contend against Felix. And then, of course, he puts Majors in there. That was actually my favorite fight in the whole film, when Majors fights Felix.
Yeah.
Because he gets a little dirty at one point,
Yeah.
and you get to see firsthand now how Majors fights.
his
and it's
style
a little
is very unique.
It's very unique. He of course puts Felix in the hospital. Now that he's the title holder, the heavyweight champ of the world, he reveals to Adonis what he did. And now he has the full switch, like, yup, I got my title now, like, you're an idiot. You took everything from me, I'm gonna take everything from you now. And it's like, okay. And then he just takes that guilt and he goes on a TV show. And what's funny is like Jonathan Majors calls up the TV show to challenge him to a fight. And Creed's like, yeah, okay, I'll fight. But he came on the show initially to make an announcement and you never get to his announcement.
Right.
So it's like, well, was his announcement that he was going to challenge Majors? But then Majors beat him to it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you want a tissue, man? You know, like at that point, when they reveal that Majors hired that guy to break Drago's hand, it took me out of Majors' corner completely.
Yeah, you're kind of with him.
You're kind of with him.
You're very sympathetic towards him.
Yes, and that's great because now you're like, okay, who do I root for in this situation?
Yeah.
They could have still had his character be like, everything you have should be mine, I'm coming for it, without him doing that.
As soon as he does that, that puts him in just straight up villain
It's straight
territory.
villain territory, and I hated that.
Yeah.
I really wish they hadn't done that. They could have still kept those motivations and the guilt and everything. It was enough. It was enough to draw Adonis out and want to fight him.
All of that was just too clunky, unnecessary. But at the end of the day, it is an issue. I'm not saying that it's not, but at the end of the day, it still is somewhat of a nitpick. Because
it's a total nitpick.
As a whole, the movie was actually really good. I think those are just the main complaints, really, in terms of a plot structure.
In terms of plot, yes, that was my biggest complaint, because they actually did weave in the theme very well across all the characters, especially like Majors, you know, his story kind of paralleling the wife's a little bit, where, you know, she can't perform anymore, now she has to watch other people perform her songs, and it's kind of like him having to watch other people fight in his place. You know, all that was good. They weaved that stuff together pretty well, and I love Duke Jr.
You see that man right there? Do you remember him?
He's good.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's very good.
The whole movie, he's like, this guy's telling you the truth. Listen to him.
The voice of reason.
The voice of reason. The whole movie.
I know what you're doing, Donnie. You don't owe this dude nothing.
And nobody listens to him.
Creed's got like battered wife syndrome. Well, you don't know him like I do. He's different.
I need you to let go of your fear. Let go of the guilt. Let go of whatever was and walk into what is.
Good movie. We'll just rate it right now.
We'll get into some other little things after the rating.
Overall, I think I'm going to give this one a 7.5.
Damn, that's exactly what I was going to give it.
It's not a great movie. It's just a very good movie.
It's a solid installment as a third film in this franchise. Now, on the other side of things, okay, the wife. You were saying this in an earlier conversation we had.
Yeah, in the previous Rocky movies, Adrian was always like the fucking nag. Rocky, you can't. You're gonna get hurt.
There's nothing wrong with being afraid.
The doctor said you shouldn't fight anymore.
You can't win!
She married a fighter, but she's like bitching at him for like doing his job.
Right.
It's like so annoying. It's like when a chick marries a cop and then she's bitching that he works long hours. Like you fucking knew it when you got married to him.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm out investigating murders.
Now Tessa Thompson is the new nag, but it's the modern woman who nags shit. So in this one, it's not about him fighting, or it's
not about him getting hurt.
It's not about him getting hurt. It's about him getting in touch with his fucking feelings. So her problem in the whole movie is that he's using his fist and he's not communicating with her. It sets it up where, you know, Majors comes back into Creed's life, and so Creed is just like, he's like guilty.
Yeah, he's feeling
all these things, and he's keeping it to himself.
Yeah.
And so she's just like on his ass the whole movie to like open up and talk about his feelings.
Yeah.
Like she says that shit,
and he doesn't want to talk about it.
He doesn't want to talk about it. Fuck off. He'll come around.
Yes.
He's dealing with it in his own way.
He will deal with it, and when he's ready to talk about it, he will talk about it.
And you know what? He does. The right time comes along.
Yes.
And he talks to her about it. I wouldn't say that the movie as a whole has too much woke shit in it.
No.
Tessa Thompson in the fucking MCU, oh my god. She's got one expression on her fucking face, and it's just this, that like, entitled,
indignant,
social justice warrior, annoying fucking look on their face, you know? But in this, it's good seeing her in the Creed movies because she's personable. She's got a good personality. She can, oh fuck, I forgot, she can act. Like, she's not bad. She's good.
Right.
You know? So
she's just nagging him about his feelings.
Yes, she's nagging, but at least we're seeing some range with her nagging from a performance standpoint.
But very different from the Adrian.
Adrian didn't want her fucking husband to get brain damage.
Yeah, exactly. She makes a big point in the beginning because the daughter gets into a fight in school, and she like decks this girl in the face.
By the way, of course, the girl that is picking on her is this white girl.
The white girl, right, in the deaf school, yeah.
In the deaf school.
Got it. Yeah. So the daughter punches her, and she essentially uses violence to beat up a bully. And the dad's all like, yeah, that's my girl.
Yeah.
And the mom's like, she says like violence doesn't solve all problems, right? Except at the end, right before he's got to fight Jonathan Majors.
Then maybe you just have to find him.
You know what you got to do? Go kick his ass. It's the only way to solve this problem.
Yeah.
It's not gonna stop.
Then you make him.
So that's
And
fine
he-
then.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
right? When he literally has a photo of Majors and the guy that attacked Drago, like, broing out. It's like,
She could have just been like, well, we have this evidence. You don't have to fight him. We can
Yeah,
just
let's go to the cops and
It'll
show-
completely
show-
disqualify
yeah.
the whole thing.
Right.
No, you know what just
Right.
happened though? Like literally fucking 10 seconds before she said that, like, oh yeah, you know what you got to do.
Yeah.
He opened up to her. So now
opened
she doesn't
up.
give a shit.
Right.
She got that fucking
oh,
emotional fix.
I got my I got my feeling fix. I got my hit. So now go fight again. I don't care if you get hurt.
Stupid.
So that's our second big nitpick.
Again, it's like that thing tearing down masculinity, and it's like they knew when they were making this movie, they're making like a super masculine movie. Both the protagonist and the antagonist,
Yes,
most
very
fucking
physical.
very physical,
They're both,
macho,
like,
masculine dudes,
jacked as hell.
Oh my god, they're fucking shredded. in this. Holy shit.
The montage.
So they had to
sequence.
like, well, we gotta throw some messaging in there somehow. Well, you know, we can sort of go at it the toxic masculinity about how, you know, when you're masculine, you don't open up, and like it's good.
Right,
that-
and fighting's bad, except when it's not bad.
Yeah.
I got it.
Stupid.
Okay.
But it wasn't really a woke fest or anything.
No. So how many rainbows?
I'll give it a 0.5.
Okay. I was gonna go with 1.
That's fair. I think you're right. I think it is a 1.
Okay.
I'm gonna change mine to a 1.
right.
That does make more sense.
Fair.
It wasn't so like overtly agenda driven that you're like, holy shit, shut the fuck up.
No.
It was fun.
Yeah, it wasn't like sitting through Ant-Man again.
It was not. This was a refreshing movie to sit through after
Yeah.
fucking suffering
Yeah.
through Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And then seeing Jonathan Majors, who's getting all this credit for Ant-Man, okay, he's fine in it, but
Yeah.
in
This, he was
he's-
excellent.
It was seriously
Yes.
fucking good.
So if you're gonna see it, definitely see it for Majors.
He steals it,
He
man.
steals the show in this.
It was a solid movie.
Yeah. Very good. Looking forward to Creed 4.
Creed 4. Maybe he'll fight like a giant Ukrainian or something.
Who knows?
Maybe he can like have a speech that single-handedly ends the Ukrainian conflict.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Rocky ended communism in Rocky 4.
Yes.
Everybody should change.
We'll have to do a ranking of the Rocky movies.
I think we should.
Yeah.